I feel like we have been waiting to have this long-winded debate for a good long while.
It's been stewing.
Stewing. For years. Years.
Yeah, actually, it has been years.
Years. But now it's time to step into the ring and throw down as we finally discuss this hotly contested video game.
Yes.
Tumultuous.
Tumultuous?
Tumultuous.
I mean, there have been many, many arguments about this game with me and you
There
over
have
the
been.
years.
I feel like the last time I played this game, it was because of you, and then I just got to the final boss and didn't finish it.
Oh my god.
It was hard.
That final boss is hard unless you know like tricks.
Exactly, and I didn't know the tricks, and I was like, nope, I'm good.
You could have just asked me.
I think I did, and I was just like, I don't think I can do this. And I want to grind for another 30 hours to get to where I need to be.
It wouldn't involve grinding.
It may have.
It wouldn't have involved grinding.
It may have. I don't know like how like leveled I was in that save, so like I think I might have been under leveled. So it probably would have.
All right. If you could beat Seymour Flux on the mountain, you could beat anything in that game.
Apparently not.
Other than the super bosses. Anyway, we're talking about Final Fantasy X.
Here on this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by the Final Fantasy X fan herself, Doc Anne Ladyem.
Hello.
We are talking about Final Fantasy X. It's been a while.
It's been a long time coming.
Eventually, we had to talk about this game. Oh, God. Phone, calm down.
Oh no.
Sending me weather alerts.
Oh, no. Is it bad?
There's a flood warning. It's fine.
Oh, my God.
So, that's a weird thing to say, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, we've had a lot of internal discussions. I think I've made mention. We've had jabs here and there on the podcast about this game, but we've never gotten to sit down and actually discuss it in full, mostly because I hadn't finished it, actually. And I think that kind of held it back. But I finally did. A few years after the fact, because mostly because that new version of the remaster was coming out on Switch and Xbox One, and also I got it real cheap on the PS4, so...
You did. I was trying to figure out which episode we talked about Final Fantasy X-2.
Are you doing the same thing that I'm doing right now?
Episode 35. Wow.
Why do you gotta upstage me like that?
Episode 35.
There it is. So...
Like 100 episodes ago.
About 100 episodes ago, about almost 2 years ago, about a year and 2/3 ago, we discussed Final Fantasy X-2.
Which is a good game.
It is a great game.
I really like it. I even wrote a piece about it.
You
did too.
Yes. Did I?
Yeah, you did, about how like Mystic Quest and X-2 were like experiments.
All right, I did. I forget about that. I've wrote a lot of stuff. So yeah, we talked about Final Fantasy X-2, the sequel to this game, a good while ago. In this description, I wrote, in this episode, we discussed why I think it is a much better game than Final Fantasy X. And that has been a point of contention ever since.
It has.
Now we get to lay it all bare and figure out, is what I wrote a year and 2/3 ago still hold up, or has my mind changed since then?
I mean, you even wrote it like 2 weeks ago when you sent a picture of it, like, oh man, look at this bad game package for the good game. So
I like to troll about Final Fantasy X.
You do like to troll about Final Fantasy X.
Fun.
Final Fantasy X is good. It is a great game. 10-2 is a great game.
10-2 is just a better game.
I like them both pretty equally. And I like them both for very different reasons.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we get into that,
okay,
you want to talk about release dates and all that fun stuff that we do on these episodes?
Yeah, let's talk about some logistics on
let's
this.
Let's get into the logistics of this episode. Final Fantasy X
10
or 10. This isn't even getting into like the bad Final Fantasy 10-2 names that we found out.
Oof.
Oh god, they were so bad. There was like 3 of them and they were all bad. Like, what are you doing?
All bad.
Final Fantasy X was originally released almost 20 years ago.
Oh god.
This game's almost 20 years old.
I wasn't. Oh god.
First released in Japan on July 19, 2001, in North America on December 17, 2001, in Australia May 17, 2002, in Europe May 24, 2002, and the international edition came out to Japan on January 31st, 2002.
I wasn't even in high school yet.
No.
Oof.
I was still in elementary school.
Oof.
Wait, was I? Yes.
I mean,
technically.
I started high school in fall 2002?
I started in 04, so.
Oof.
Yep.
Oof. Considering the fact that it came out almost 20 years ago, these CGs still look really good.
They do. I mean, if there's one thing that Square did really, really well in that time period, even going back to like the 7 CGs, like they knew how to make really good looking CGs.
Yeah, they did. Like 7, 8, 9, 10 had fantastic CGs, even if like the character models didn't age as well.
I mean, that was like the one thing you would come to these games for, is like, look how great these pre-rendered cutscenes are.
I loved it.
It's why they made 2 movies out like that. So, eventually, with the cultural success and the critical success that Final Fantasy X got, it eventually got a remake or a remaster.
A remaster.
And the Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD remaster. That came out last generation, because everything got HD remasters in the last generation, and that still continues to this day. This version originally came out on December 26, 2013 in Japan on the PlayStation 3 and Vita, in North America on March 18, 2014, in Australia on March 20th, 2014, and in Europe on March 21st, 2014. It would later come to the PlayStation 4, in North America on May 12, 2015, Japan May 14, 2015, Australia May 14, 2015, and then Europe on May 15th, 2015. It came to the personal computer on May 12th, 2016, and then just recently it came to the Switch and Xbox One in Japan on April 11th, 2019, and then worldwide elsewhere on April 16th, 2019. So basically, it's pretty much everywhere now. Like, for the most part, like, this had been restrained to the PlayStation ecosystem, but now Square's kind of just like, hey, everyone, you all want some Final Fantasy? We got all this Final Fantasy for you. Here you go.
Got to make up for the development cycles of 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3.
We got to make some money. We got to make some money.
I had a Final Fantasy X phone case like 2 years ago, something like that.
I mean, that's the least surprising thing you could say.
Mm-hmm. I was sad when it broke.
Let's talk a little bit about development.
Let's do it.
I sent you a video just recently that was
brown hair Tidus.
Yeah, it was the first reveal of Final Fantasy X from a Square event in Japan. It was the same day that they unveiled Final Fantasy IX coming out.
Yes.
And they were also like, oh, by the way, we're also doing Final Fantasy X, and it's coming to the PS2. Which was
if you think about it, like 9 came out in 2000 and this came out in 2001. So
yeah,
they were developed at the same time.
They were back to back. That video is...
Imagine doing that now, Square.
Good luck. That video is very interesting because, like you said, Tidus looks very different. He's brunette. The animation on him is way better than the PS2 was ever capable of doing. And there was a lot of, like... aspects of like online capability that they were really pushing.
Yeah, they were trying real hard on that.
Which was really interesting. That's like, what was this gonna be? Like, what were they doing? Then obviously, like none of that ever really showed up in the actual game itself, so that all got cut. But it's an interesting little look at like what the initial design and kind of what they were going for with Final Fantasy X originally. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about development because there's a lot in this Wikipedia article about development. Development began in 1999, so a short turnaround. If you know, that's a 2-year development cycle.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's really apparently cost Square Enix 4 billion yen, which is approximately $48.6 million in 2018 buckaroos. And there was a crew of over 100 people, most of whom worked on previous games in the series, working on the game itself. Executive producer Hironobu Sakaguchi had stated that although he had concerns about the transition from 2D to 3D backgrounds, the voice acting and the transition to real-time storytelling, the success of the Final Fantasy series can be attributed to constantly challenging the development team to try new things. Which, like, that seems very true of that, like, of that series as a whole, because, like, you know, Square's been putting out those documentaries, like, detailing the development of 9 and 7. Mm-hmm. And like the 7 one was a lot of them being like, yeah, we have no idea how to make 3D models and everything. We were just doing this by just trying it and see if it worked.
Yep.
And I feel like that quote by Sakaguchi kind of like pushes that forward even more. It's like, we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to figure it out. I don't know.
Well, Nomura did the whole thing with like, I'm going to design Lulu with so many belts so that you have to like design and animate those belts all the time. It's like, one, you're a butthead.
Yes.
And two, their method of getting around that was just like in cutscenes showing her from like the waist up.
Yeah. Just show her boobs.
They're like, F you, man. I don't want to put like 1,000 belts on this animation. Like, no.
Let's see here. Producer Yoshinori Kitase was also the chief director of Final Fantasy X. He was also the director of 6, 7, and 8. Mm-hmm. Which makes sense why now he's not on 9, because if this was going on at the same time as 9, like he probably really couldn't do double duty.
Correct.
Yeah. The direction of events, maps, and battles was split up between Motomo Toriyama, Takayoshi Nakazato, and Toshiro Tsuchida, respectively. The development of the script of the game took 3 to 4 months, with the same amount of time dedicated to the voice recording afterwards. Kazushige Nojima collaborated with Daisuke Watanabe, Toriyama and Kitase on writing the scenario for Final Fantasy X. Nojima was particularly concerned with establishing a connection in the relationship between the player and the main character. Thus, he penned the story such that the player's progress to the world and growing knowledge about it is reflected in Tidus' own understanding and narration.
That makes sense.
You want to hear about Nomura's influences on this game?
Hit me.
Character designer Tetsuya Nomura has identified that the South Pacific, Thailand, and Japan as major influences on the cultural and geographic design of Spira, particularly concerning the geographic location of the southern Besaid and Kilika Islands. He has also said that Spira deviates from the worlds of past Final Fantasy games in the level of detail incorporated, something as he expressed to have made a conscious effort to maintain during the design process. Kitase felt that if the setting went back to the medieval European fantasy, it would not seem to help the development team advance. While he was thinking of different world environments, Nojima suggested a fantasy world that incorporated Asian elements. Sub-character chief designer Fumi Nakashima's focus was to ensure that characters from different regions and cultures bore distinctive characteristics in their clothing style so that they could be quickly and easily identified as members of their respective subgroups, which means that everyone is out.
I mean, you're not wrong.
For example, she had said that the masks and goggles of the Al Bhed gave the group a strange and eccentric appearance, while the attire of the Ronso led them to being able to easily engage in battle. Tidus' relationship with his father Jet was based on stories throughout the ages, such as the ancient Greek legends. This would eventually reveal the key of Sin's weakness and eventual defeat. There's a lot of talk about how they did motion capture for this game, because obviously bigger character models and everything, they gotta do that. There's a little bit about the online part about this.
Oh, really?
The game was initially going to feature online elements offered through Square's Play Online service. The features, however, were dropped during production, and online gaming would not become part of the Final Fantasy series until Final Fantasy XI.
11.
Map
I
Direct.
played that.
Do what?
Sorry, I burped. I played 11 too.
I have not played. 11's the one of like the more recent games I haven't played.
I played 11 like on the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
It was a wild choice on my part.
I think there are still ways to play 11 today, like through the PC version.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's interesting. Map director Nakazato wanted to implement a world map concept with a more realistic approach than that of the traditional Final Fantasy game, in line with the realism of the game's 3D backgrounds as opposed to pre-rendered backgrounds. As a player of the games in the Final Fantasy series, battle director Tsuchida wanted to recreate elements he found interesting or entertaining, which eventually led to the removal of the active time battle system, and instead incorporated the strategy-focused conditional time-based battle system. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that is a mouthful. Jesus.
And then
I did like the character swap out though. Like you could tag people in.
And then active time battle just comes back in 10 too.
Yeah.
Originally, Final Fantasy X was going to feature wandering enemies visible on the field map, seamless transitions in battles, and the option for players to move around the landscape during enemy encounters. That kind of reminds me of how like those prototypes of Persona 3 looked.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where like they also tried to do that thing, and then eventually that just didn't work out.
They're like, oh right, we have to do this on a PS2.
Yeah. It's interesting how like, you know, these RPG companies are just like really trying to make that work, but the technology just isn't allowing them to do so. Like they have like multiple companies have this idea in mind, like seamless transition in the battle from walking on the world map into a fight and just
moving around in the battle,
having all this be, you know, without load times and everything. The technology is like, no, dog, you can't do this. Battle art director Shintaro Takai has explained that it was his intention that battles in Final Fantasy X came across as a natural part of the story and not an independent element. However, due to hardware limitation, this idea was not used. Instead, a compromise was made, whereby some transitions from the field map to the battle map were made relatively seamless with the implementation of a motion blur effect that would happen at the end of an event scene. The desire for seamless transitions also led to the implementation of the new summoning system seen in the game. Kitase has explained that the purpose behind the sphere grid is to give players an interactive means of increasing their character's attributes, such that they will be able to observe the development of those attributes firsthand. The developers experienced difficulty with the scene of Tidus and Yuna kissing, as they were not used to animating romance scenes.
They're all like, oh crap, how do we make them kiss? Kissing is hard.
Visual works director Kazuyuki Ikamori stated that this was due to the use of 3D models in the scene. Because of the negative response from female members of staff, the scene was remade multiple times. Which I feel is like, yeah, that makes sense. And then there's some talk about music. Your favorite thing.
I love talking about music. It's split. Uematsu's not the only one who does it this time.
That's the first sentence on here. Final Fantasy X marks the first time regular series composer Nobuo Uematsu has had any assistance in composing the score for a game in the main series. His fellow composers for Final Fantasy X were Masashi Hamauzu and Junya Nakano. They were chosen for the soundtrack based on their ability to create music that was different from Uematsu's style, while still being able to work together. PlayOnline.com first revealed that the game's theme song was completed in November 2000, as Square still had not revealed who would sing the song. GameSpot personally asked Uematsu, who jokingly answered, "It's going to be Rod Stewart."
I love Uematsu so much. What a good dude.
The game features 3 songs with vocalized elements, including the J-pop ballad Tsutake Dane, which translates to "Isn't It Wonderful?" The lyrics were written by Kazushige Nojima, and the music was written by Uematsu. The song is performed by Japanese folk singer Riki, whom the music team contacted while searching for a singer whose music reflected an Okinawan atmosphere. Tsutake Dane is also sung in Japanese in the English version of Final Fantasy X. Like Eyes on Me from Final Fantasy VIII and Melodies of Life from Final Fantasy IX, an orchestrated version of Tsutake Dane is used as part of the ending theme. The other songs with lyrics are the heavy metal opening theme Otherworld, sung in English by Bill Muir, and Hymn of the Faith, a recurring piece sung using Japanese syllabary.
Can we talk about this Otherworld guy for a quick minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I know a little bit about this singer, and I mean, I don't know, like he has like a straight edge name, which is hilarious because he was from like a straight edge metal band that like failed in the US, so went to Japan instead.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they like picked him up and they're like, "Hey, can you do the vocals for this thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." But like he's from like a straight edge metal band that hung out in Japan. And it's like, excuse me, what? But like his stage name has like the X's and stuff in front of it, like super MySpace style.
Yeah. I feel like 2007, 2008, Jared would have been way into that.
Oh, I bet. Oh, I super bet. But yeah, that's the story of that guy.
That's
how he got involved with Final Fantasy X.
You want to hear a little bit about the development of the remaster?
Sure. Other than they ruined Tidus' and Unit's faces.
We'll get to that.
Ugh.
The idea for a remaster originated from the reunion of the game's original development team and voice cast during the making of Final Fantasy Type 0. Character designer Tetsuya Nomura, associate producer Hideki Imaizumi, and a voice actor who is not named, thought that they should create something to celebrate the 10th anniversary of X, or 10. Got confused myself.
Max just licked the microphone.
That's good. He's breaking it in.
He was saying hi.
Producer Yoshinori Katase's personal motivation was to have people too young to have played the games experience them, as his son was only old enough to know the characters of Tidus and Yuna from Dissidia, Final Fantasy, and its prequel.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Another reason was that many did not have an opportunity to play the game since they were not compatible with the majority of PlayStation 3 models and neither available on the PlayStation Network, unlike games from the original PlayStation like Final Fantasy 7 and 9.
What about 8?
I mean, that's available on PSN.
I know.
I don't know why they didn't put it, though.
Why didn't they put it?
Nomura entered negotiations with other old members of staff and got a remaster of 10 and 10.2 approved, but the actual development process was delayed because most of the team was still busy with the creation of Final Fantasy 13. The remaster was first announced at the Tokyo Game Show in 2011, where it was assumed that the game would release to commemorate the 10th anniversary of 10. The bulk of the remastering work was outsourced to the Shanghai-based studio Virtuos. Square Enix's internal staff was responsible for reassembling the assets and helped with a part of redoing the high-definition data. Among the returning original team members were Motomo Toriyama, Yusuke Naura, Toshitaka Matsuda, and Masaki Kobayashi, who supervised the production. 10.2 art director Shintaro Takae remained in the same role for both remastered games. The Chinese side of the development was headed by managing director Pan Feng, which I probably horribly butchered. The team encountered problems importing the games to PlayStation 3 and Vita as their graphics used many functionalities unique to the PlayStation 2 hardware, the Emotion Engine. The loss and repair of some of the original assets posed another hurdle, with Katase commenting that it might have been easier to recreate the data from the ground up. That seems to be, an issue with Square.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just casually losing assets of video games, or just losing the source code for certain games.
Ugh.
The PS3 version supports display resolutions of 720 and 1080p, the former with and the latter without anti-aliasing, with the Vita version run at 720 by 408 pixels. Graphical features such as the water effects and lighting were approved. Other changes included the addition of bloom, the move from circular to dynamic shadows, and tweaks to environmental geometry and texturing. The developers revised the 3D models for both games. Most models merely received new textures, but those of the playable characters were rebuilt completely with noticeable changes to their faces. So that's why their faces are different, because they had to completely rebuild them. They probably lost those original assets.
But couldn't you still make them look like those characters?
It might be more difficult than you think.
I mean, I guess.
That's how I would assume it is.
But the rest of them didn't look as off as those two did.
I don't know, buddy.
Yeah, it's
shrug
weird.
shoulders.
Like, one thing that I have read is that they specifically tried to make Orin look older because they said that like his original model looked like a 35-year-old man, which like they say, and like I am coming up, I'm 31, and I'm like, what exactly does a 35-year-old man's skin look like?
Like he's 60.
But they made him look 50.
They do, yeah.
And I'm like, at least 50.
I mean, he's been through the ringer. I mean, I think that's kind of maybe an issue. He's got all that stress wrinkles.
Yeah, he's had a bad day.
He's had a lot of bad days.
He's had several bad days. But yeah, they're like, we had to make him look like a 35-year-old man. I'm like, have you guys ever seen a 35-year-old man?
No.
Ever? Like, look in the mirror. Are you 35? But I mean, the rest of them look fine. Like Lulu looked like herself, Kamari looked like himself, Riku looked like herself mostly. But like Yuna and Tidus look like completely different characters. And one of the things that really upsets me about this, and I'm sorry that I'm going on this rant.
No, you're fine.
Is that Tidus had very specific facial features that made him look like playful and boyish and kind of like he was up to something. And they got rid of that. And I am very sad about that. Like they gave him like kind of angry eyebrows at first. Sorry, I hiccuped. He had like angry eyebrows and like he looked like he had a constant smirk on because he had like upturned lip. And he also had like his lips were specifically designed a certain way that he looked like he was up to something, and I loved it. But he lost all of those features, and now he's just like generic boy band member. Which I was playing Final Fantasy X some when my brother was here, and he never beat Final Fantasy X. Mm-hmm. I played it in his room a lot when we were kids, and by kids I mean like he was in high school and about to graduate, and I was a kid,
right?
But I played it in his room because that's where the PS2 was, and so like he knew about it, but he never beat it. He didn't get very far in it. Probably because I took over, but so he was watching me play the remake when he was here for Easter, and he's like, man, Square Enix really has been on a quest to make the guys look as much like they belong in a boy band as possible, even since 10. And I'm like, yep. Because he's like, Noctis is a boy band member. This guy's a boy band member. Like, yeah, it makes sense. Lightning is totally a boy band member. But yeah, it's just very upsetting. And like, I felt like Yuna had a much more expressive face in the original. And I guess to put it in like a strange phrasing way, like she looked more cute than she did like look like a very beautiful woman. Like she looked cute. I was like, I like this. So, you had the mischievous one and you had the cute one, and they apparently had a hard time making them make out. Anyway, I miss their old faces. God, they had to rebuild them, though. Like, that's intense. That's real intense. Anyway.
Also in this remaster, there is an audio drama.
Ugh! No, there's not.
For the credits of the HD remaster, scenario writer Kazushige Nojima wrote the audio drama Final Fantasy X Will as an appendix taking place 2 years after 10-2. Nojima and Nomura felt it was a good opportunity to expand upon the universe of 10. They opted for
Nomura was involved with
this?
Yep,
that should give you all you need to know.
God, I hate Nomura.
They opted for the audio drama format as the team did not want to create a solid visual impression, instead of heading to leave it up to interpretation. Like, this. The team wanted the audio drama to be the direct opposite to the upbeat feel and happy ending of 10-2. The wish for a more melancholy atmosphere resulted in them bringing Sen, which is completely dumb, the main antagonistic force in 10, back into the story, as the team wanted to keep it involved in a similar fashion to Sephiroth, the main antagonist of Final Fantasy VII, as companion media. I mean, they're already goofing there. The drama's open ending was also intentional, as Kantase wanted to leave something up to the player's imagination. For the record, Final Fantasy X Will sucks. It's trash.
Garbage. Like, none of it makes sense. The only good thing about it is that they had that art that went along with it.
They called like the concept art and everything, yeah. Like that was the only interesting thing about it.
Well, and the aged up art of them is neat, but like,
did you notice did they put the PS2 stuff in there?
I didn't see it.
Huh.
I did see that there was like a PlayStation ad at one point, but I didn't see like a disc or anything.
So like in at least the PS4, PS3 version, like their concept arts of like the disc and all that sort of stuff. So we were wondering if like they would have cut that out for the Switch and Xbox One version because of just the brand recognition and all that sort of stuff. So
I didn't see it, but God, this is such a bad drama. Like, none of it makes sense. Like,
no.
Yuna and Tidus are like arguing, and then Yuna's like, I'm in love with somebody else and you don't know him. And then Tidus like goes a little, like, what does she mean she's in love with somebody else? She's like, you're an idiot. You should know her by now. And then like also there's this inexplicable girl who's like, oh, by the way, Oren's my dad. And everyone's like, no.
And then like they just never talk about it again.
They never talk about it again. And then like there's the little summoner kid, and then there's like fireflies and people coming back to life for a while, and like Sin's back for some reason.
Which is so stupid. Yuna's basically just doing what she was doing post 10 again.
Yeah, she basically just
reverts
to be
It's
and
so
like,
bad.
It's terrible. And so like in my brain, that is not canon. I think they've already retconned the novel, which is good.
So that's a good thing considering how much hate that thing got.
Ugh.
People do not like that.
This is why sometimes it's just better to leave things alone.
Mm-hmm.
10 and 10-2 are great, and they had satisfying endings, especially if you get the good or 100% ending in 10-2. We don't need anything else. Like, leave it alone.
I think the idea of like including an audio drama like in this, like in like a remaster format, like as like a little bonus, like that's an interesting idea, and more companies should do something like that.
But not like this.
But not like this, where it's just completely bad. And if you're going off the fact like, oh yeah, we're basing this off of the 7 universe where we've totally done good things with that, it's like, no. Ugh. You haven't done anything good of 7 since Final Fantasy 7 came out. Everything post 7 has been bad.
Actually, Crisis Core was good.
Well, that's a prequel.
Yeah, but it was
storyline post 7.
Okay. Yes, anything that is post 7 in terms of story is bad. Sometimes it's just better to leave like well enough alone. Because both the novel and the drama are just hot garbage. At least they did also put on like Last Mission and Eternal Calm and all that, which Last Mission also has some problematic things in it.
But that's basically just like a big dungeon thing.
It is, but it's like none of these girls hang out anymore, and they don't really like each other anymore. It's like, what? Why?
This is what happened when we have a bunch of men writing lady characters.
Yep.
Don't know how to do it.
Precisely the issue. They're like, well, they don't get along because like Yuna has a boyfriend now. It's like, no. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Maybe
you know how I'm saying that they've never seen a 35-year-old man?
They've also never seen
They've also never seen a girl ever.
What how we've been ragging on Final Fantasy or Square as being like really downturn in terms of Final Fantasy. What if 10 and everything was the beginning of this downturn? Like initially, with the way that like they badly mishandled the end of 10 or like post 10-2 content, the way they handled that last mission stuff, like what if this was really the start of the downfall?
I mean, I would argue that 10-2 is the last like really good Final Fantasy game that they released. And I mean that in terms of like vanilla 10-2.
I would say that as well in terms of discounting the online stuff.
Yeah, I don't
because 14 is good.
Yeah,
but like in terms of like
I've heard that, but I didn't play it.
In terms of like the JRPGs.
Yeah,
This is the last it gets good.
Vanilla 10-2 was the last good one. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Fight me. Even though I will give them credit, Balthier was a good character in 12, but that's it.
They just remade Star Wars.
They did.
And then 13 is just a mess.
13 is a mess, and they made 3 of them.
Here is something I've actually been wanting to ask you because it came to my mind recently.
Ask me anything.
And I think saw someone else mention this as well.
Okay.
13 gets a lot of heat.
It does.
In particular because people say it's a very linear game.
10 is also linear.
10 is also a very linear game. Why does it not get as much heat as 13 for that?
Because the story's better? Because the characters are actually likable? Like, there's a lot that 10 does right that
But
13
those
does
aren't like
not.
the complaints that people say when they call
Oh,
out.
it is.
For me, like every time I heard about 13 being linear, it's like, oh, I want the open world experience of a Final Fantasy game. I want to be able to explore the world map whenever I want. Like those are always the complaints I heard about when people said they were talking about 13 being linear.
But you've never been able to do that in a Final Fantasy ever.
Eh,
I mean, think about it. If you're going around and like Final Fantasy 7, you have a specific plot line that you have to go through. You can't go to the second continent until you've gotten to that part of the plot, and you also have a method to get back there.
true, but like you're able to run around the world map, and you're not going just from point A to point B. Like you have a little bit more openness to you. You're not constrained to where like the map is taking you, in a sense.
Mm.
Like in the way that like the worlds in like 10 are, where like, you know, you're in this area and you're confined to this area, and that's it. And if you want to go to the next area, you just basically you continue the story. And sometimes you can go back that area, but sometimes you can't. In the earlier games, you would probably be able to go back to those original areas you'd already been to, and you could explore this, you know, section of the world map that you're in and fight stuff and do all that stuff. Like it's less linear in that aspect. Those original games were.
Are you saying that the lack of an overworld map is the issue?
I feel like that was always the one of the main criticisms against 13 I always heard was like, there's no overworld. I want to be able to go places however I want. I don't want to be constricted into what the game is making me go to. And like I don't want to be constricted into these like tiny areas that are very much, you know, you're following this very, very set path and that's it.
Okay, because that's not usually the complaint that I hear about 13.
We have heard different complaints about 13.
Because I've heard that before, but then I've also seen people say like, okay, what 10 had that issue too. But
I never hear people complain about 10 having that issue, which is the I think that's the thing that is confusing to me. Because it is the same issue.
Yeah, and I mean, it's, again, I don't know that it's really any different from most Final Fantasies. Like, yes, in like most Final Fantasies, you did have an overworld map, but you really couldn't go that far from that overworld map.
But you had that additional area to kind of go and grind and find some little secrets here and there. See, Max agrees.
But you could also like grind and find secrets in and then in the map of 10.
But those are constricted to the areas you have to be in. Like it would be the same as like you're going from town to town to town, but there's no overworld map in 7, 8, 9, 1 through 6. Like that overworld map just gives you a little bit extraness. Like it breaks you out of that linearity.
I mean,
while 10 really doesn't until you get the airship, and even then it's not like you have like a bonus map area to go explore. It's basically still the same places that you've been to, but you can kind of go in whatever order you want now.
Minus Omega Ruins, those are new.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see where you're going with this. I just don't agree with it.
How do you not agree? I'm just asking why people don't have an issue with it. I don't like. I'm not saying one way or the other. It's just a weird thing to me that people just kind of pass this on by and then just throw it all on 13 as being like this terrible thing for not having an overworld map when 10 also kind of does the same thing.
I think it's because 13 has so many other problems.
I mean, that's fair. I just
like 13 is just a mess of a video game.
Yeah. Like it just seems weird that, like, you know, I mean, I understand probably why it's that, you know, 10 is universally praised and all this, and like, you know, you don't see much detraction about 10 that often. So like, you're probably not going to see many people being like, man, this is a really linear game. This is real strange in terms of Final Fantasy, because most of the games prior to this weren't this linear. But then 13 comes around, and that's the big complaint
that you hear.
Yeah. When it's already happened in the series.
Like, that's not the complaint that I ever hear. But also, like, they went the complete opposite direction of 15, and that was so overwhelming. So, ugh. 13 had a lot of problems.
Sure.
13, I didn't finish it.
Neither did I.
I almost finished 12 and never finished it. I finished 15 and
regret it.
I have. I just think that 10 had a lot more going for it in terms of the story and the characters that made people like. And it may have also been the fact that, 10 was like so. I'm trying to think of the way that I can word this, because it wasn't like. It was a different type of Final Fantasy. It was the first Final Fantasy of that style.
Sure.
Because like you were saying, with 9, like they had the drawn backgrounds. 10 was the first one that you had like an actual like open background type area type thing. I don't know what word I'm looking for there. And so that was like technically very cool for people. They're like, wow, they don't have the pre-render backgrounds anymore. We can just go anywhere.
You see that mountain? We can go there.
Oh my god.
I mean, it could have been just a thing where like
you were very chatty.
He is. With the hardware limitations, they might have been able to do like an overworld map.
Yeah, and I mean that may actually be the case because like as we've seen, they really wanted to do a lot more with 10 than they could.
Yeah.
Because of the PS2's hardware.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't answer that, but
I'm just going to put everyone on blast. Hey, if you criticize 13 for being too linear, you have to criticize 10 as well.
Yeah, criticize 13 for what it actually deserves to be criticized for, which is being a terrible video game.
You got to put people on blast.
I do what I do.
Well, let's talk about Final Fantasy X. Blitzball, it sucks.
Blitzball's terrible.
Sucks.
But holy crap, dude. Like, I actually won a tournament the first time in my entire life.
You went to double overtime and won that thing.
I have never won a Blitzball game since this game came out, ever. I've never won one.
I don't know. You did it on a system you don't get a trophy for it, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, that's the bummer. Is that like I actually won and I don't get a trophy because I played it on the Switch, but also I can play it in my bed, so that's pretty
true.
Nice.
Again, I have to remind people. Square completely stole the concept for Blitzball from the Captain Tsubasa Famicom games. It's literally the same thing, and they just completely ripped it off and made it water soccer instead of soccer. But yeah, Blitzball still sucks. Like, oh my god, it's so bad. It was cool when I was 12, and I was like, wow, this looks really neat. But playing it sucks.
I'm gonna make a controversial statement.
It better not be Blitzball's good, because I will come fight you.
No, that is not the statement I'm about to make. I don't think any of the like mini games in any of the Final Fantasy games are good.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that's not that controversial.
No, people love Triple Triad.
Well, that's because people are weird.
But like, Triple Triad is terrible. The card game in 9 is terrible. Blitzball in 10 is terrible. Sphere Break is terrible. Like, they're not good at these, and they should stop.
They made a ton of them in 7, and they were like, oh man, people really like this stuff, right?
Also, the ones in 7 were not good.
No, they weren't good there either. Does 8, like, 8 has Triple Triad.
Triple Triad. It's just, they're not good.
They're not.
But I actually won a Blitzball tournament, and how did I even do that? I mean, like, double overtime, my dude. Like, Jesus Christ. And it was, you were on like a conference call, I guess is the best way to word it. We were chatting while I was playing.
We were in a meeting. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's like the most cursing you've ever heard from me ever.
That's debatable.
It was bad. because I was very angry. I kept yelling at the dudes for like getting their hands on the ball and also like not throwing the ball and also just not doing their jobs. And I kept yelling at Waka for being racist. And
well, that's just a thing everyone does.
Yeah. So it was I'm not good at Blitzball, but Blitzball does suck. It's cool as a story mechanic, and it also explains the fact that like Tidus can hold his breath forever.
I mean, it's kind of just like, hey, we made up this thing so he can breathe underwater.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know if it's necessarily that great of a plot device.
I mean, the whole idea of him being like a sports prodigy who is like from this like sports dynasty and then like is completely taken away from his world as he knows it and then put into a world that the only thing that's similar is the fact that that sport is there. Like, it's pretty cool.
How did no one in 1,000 years realize that Blitzball's terrible?
It's the only thing that makes them happy, man.
God, they need to learn some new sports.
Or just not play sports.
I mean, they could play sports. Just play better ones.
Sports are mostly bad.
Well, come on.
But yeah, so it it's an interesting idea. I just don't know that like I don't like playing it.
No, it's not fun.
I know some people love it, but
that's because they're
some people are wrong. But I will say that like when I first booted this up in 2001 and that cutscene started with him in the Blitzball like stadium, it was really rad.
Yeah. I remember seeing that for the first time in a van.
In a van?
In a van.
Why were you in a van?
We were going to Florida, and we brought the PS2 along, and my friend just got Final Fantasy X, so we played that on the way down to Florida in a van.
Oh my god.
That's where a lot of my Final Fantasy X experience came from.
No wonder you didn't like it. But yeah, it's such a cool scene. That and like the Yuna scene where she's doing the sending.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are so beautiful and like really cool ways to introduce these characters.
Square can do some really good CGs.
They can, and I think that one thing, and I've already mentioned this before, is that like Final Fantasy X has some really good characters. Got some racist characters. It does have a racist character, but he has an interesting dynamic that ends up like coming into play, and then he ends up apologizing. But
kind of apologize. He's not a good apologist. Apology's not good.
He's not good at them, but he's not good at a lot of things.
No, so, that's true. He has a bad haircut.
He did try though. He did
try, but like it was he did not know how to apologize.
He said like I messed up. You guys are not all the same. I'm sorry.
Sid would have judo tossed him if he didn't apologize.
Oh my god. Him judo tossing Tidus is like one of the best parts of that game.
Real good. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you don't know Final Fantasy X, and if you don't know Final Fantasy X at this point, what the heck have you been doing? But you follow the two protagonists of this game, Tidus and Yuna. And Tidus, like I said, was a Blitzball star, which is a terrible sport. And he gets transported into Spira, which is a world he doesn't know. And he meets Yuna and her friends, and she is a summoner who is going to defeat Sin, who is the big bad in this game, which is hilarious that the big bad is named Sin.
Just like a giant flesh monster from the sea.
Yeah, he's kind of like a big fin, basically.
Yeah.
Like he kind of looks like a fin with arms.
It's kind of weird how like a lot of like the big bad enemy designs in this game are kind of underwhelming. Because like if you like compare it to like previous Final Fantasies where they just go completely bombastic, like here's a giant fish.
I mean, you can't really beat Kuja.
Do what?
You can't really beat Kuja.
That's true.
Well, and Ultimecia was pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, you had crap. Why am I blanking on her name?
Sephiroth.
Edia from 8.
But like, yeah, you have like all these weird, like, just intricately designed huge enemies, and then you get here and it's like, here's a fish, here's a little squid.
Okay, but counterpoint, you also have Seymour.
Seymour is where you kind of get that.
Yeah, Seymour's wild looking.
You get like, you see like, oh, they're gonna go into that, and then like that's about the extent of it though.
But I mean, like, again, you had like a Seymour type character. Like Kuja is a Seymour-ish character in that he's like the big bad for a while and then is replaced by something bigger.
True, like, but yeah, like I was expecting like the something bigger to be even like crazier looking, and then that just
Not
never really happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can get that. But also counterpoint, Braska's final Aeon is freaking crazy looking.
Yeah, but
he's nuts.
But it's not the crazy I was looking for.
Okay, all right.
That's just me. I completely understand that. So.
But yeah, so you have all these ragtag group of summoners and summoner and her guardians and Tidus, who is confused because he's been transported here and doesn't know what's going on. And essentially Yuna has to like travel through and pick up Aeons, which are her summons, and befriend them and continue on through Spira, healing people, talking to people, sending the dead, fighting weird summoner lady every once in a while when she sees her on the side of the road.
Making sure Sin doesn't come out like, hey guys.
Hey, what up?
No, get out.
Like the whole story, the story of Tidus and Yuna and their journey. And I know that you and I have had this argument before. And I think that at this point, like, neither of us will change our minds. But and I think we actually agree on this. Tidus and Yuna are both the protagonists of this game. Like
they are the deuteragonists, yes.
They are deuteragonists, yes. Because saying that Tidus is the protagonist is doing a huge disservice to Yuna.
Totally.
It's her
story. She is incredibly important to that game. Like, I feel like I still got really annoyed when, like, through 3/4 of the game, Tidus is like, this is my story. This is my story. And then, like, near the end, Yuna's like, no, this is also my story. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the reason that he does that is because of being told that by Oren, but also, like, he's 17.
Yeah, he's a sniveling little
Yeah, so, like, he has a lot to learn. Oh my god.
He says that at least 10 times throughout this game. Which, I will say, like, I did really like how, like, you know, for, like, 90% of this game, he calls Jet my old man. He will not refuse to call him by name. He won't even call him dad or anything.
Yep.
When they actually, like, get to the point where he actually says it, like, it actually has a lot of weight to it. And I was, like, very surprised by that.
Yeah.
And, like, it actually felt really meaningful. So, like, that was one thing that I feel like they actually did pull off pretty well by, like, hiding him having to, like, actually name his dad and everything. And then, like, once he actually does, it's like, oh, like, he's understanding of, like, what happened now and why things went the way they were, and, you know,
growing as a person
and kind of understanding everything, and doesn't have to be, I mean, he can still hate his dad, but, like, you know, he doesn't have to be like, my old man.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a lot of growth that he goes through to understand, like, yes, my dad was a terrible person and he did a lot of terrible things. Him disappearing was not his fault. But also, like, I still have terrible feelings towards you and I will not, like, care about you as a person, really. but like I acknowledge what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point he does actually call him dad,
Yeah.
which is interesting. And when he first like gets to see him, he's like, I hate you. And he's like, okay, that's fine.
Because there's a transition from when he's saying my old man, and then he starts talking about his father.
Yep.
And then once he's face to face with him, that's the first time he calls him dad.
Yep. It's a really cool transition, and like the whole phrasing of that is very, very important.
It is smartly done.
See? It's not just him being an annoying 17-year-old boy.
My old man.
He is an annoying 17-year-old boy, but like he's not just that. And I can understand that because like you know a bit of this, but like I didn't always have the best relationship with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I would get in moods where I would just like refuse to call him dad.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, I don't want to associate myself with this person. Because you feel like they've hurt you so much that like you don't want that kind of relationship anymore. And that's fine. Like that happens. And so Tidus is going through that, and Tidus has, lost his entire family and lost them pretty young. I mean, like he's 17.
I mean, he's lost his entire world.
Well, that too, but they imply that he was younger when he lost his mom. Like he was still like the brunette kid then.
Prototype Tidus.
Well, when he was a kid, he like had brown hair, and so obviously like he bleaches it.
Like any true 2001 teenager would.
Like it really means a lot, and I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking.
It probably would have been better if they had decided like to have him use more vocabulary than just my old man.
Yeah, and
so
that
I couldn't
may
goof
be like
on it the
a
entire
translation
time.
thing.
True, yeah, but there is a decent payoff to that, which I was pleasantly surprised by.
Yay!
So there's that.
It's a good game.
Let's get into this, I guess.
All right, let's get into it.
Final Fantasy X was better than I remembered, but I still think I like 10-2 more.
And that's fine,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you acknowledge that 10 is not a bad game.
I definitely wouldn't say it's nowhere near like my favorite. Like I would probably rank the PS1 trilogy above it. But that's just me. Like I think there are parts of this game I don't really all that care for. Like I still think like the battle systems is good. I'm still not that big of a fan of the sphere grid, quite honestly. But that's just the way. Like if I want to level a character, I kind of want to have a little bit more, I guess, like a tiny bit more agency to it, and that's more just like me poking in numbers where I want.
What do you mean you want agency? Because like this gives you more agency than say like Persona 3.
I mean, it does. You're not wrong. I guess it would be kind of more like the SMT and the early Persona game systems where like you have like all of their stats and you just decide, okay, what do I want to put what do I want to put these skill points into, these numbers into.
But you kind of do that with a sphere grid.
Yes and no. Like you can like build them up that way, but like I feel like I would have a tiny bit more freedom without the sphere grid, if that makes sense. Like if I wanted to bump up strength and magic at the same time, I feel like that's going to be kind of more difficult on the sphere grid because you're probably going to go more in a magic direction or in a strength direction. Unless like you know how to get to like a specific character who can kind of do with both. But if you're just like starting off, you're probably not going to be able to do that. But again, that's just me. I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really good that like you can customize a character. Like I had when I finished the game, I had Riku like Actually, I had Riku and Yuna both going through Tidus's to get strength and agility. Because if you actually take Yuta through that sphere grid and give her strength, her Aeons can become like insanely overpowered.
Which I really never use Aeon, so like that wouldn't have necessarily been that much of a benefit towards me. I guess again for me, like if I wanted to go that route, like being able to just plug numbers in instantly to do that would have been more my preference. The way that like some of the items that like let you go to like a different person's sphere grid are more rare is kind of one of the things I don't like. Oh god, my alarm. Just because like if you don't have those, it's very hard to get to another person's sphere grid, like to a specific person's sphere grid. I should say if you want to if you're not going to go like the progression that the game wants you to go. Like, if you want to take Yuna and then make her go straight into, like, black magic, like, it's going to be very hard to do that immediately if you're not going, like, the intended path. If you don't have, like, those specific spheres that let you kind of, like, jump around wherever.
I mean, I think it's fun.
Hey, to be fair, this sphere grid is way better than Path of Exile sphere grid, which is just completely insane. It's like if you took the sphere grid and made it 5 times bigger, maybe 6 times bigger. It's nuts. Super bonkers. So yeah, there's that. Trying to think what else. There were some weird issues I had with the remaster specifically. Like very like weird things. Like I felt like at times there were instances where Tidus's like voice like sped up real quickly.
Really?
Yeah, like the way he like his dialogue just like sped up, and then like for the next line it would be fine. And I feel like I had that instance happen like a couple times, and I was like, that's very strange.
That didn't happen to me.
There was also a scene that happened late in the game where the audio quality on like the dialogue just completely dropped. And it got real rough. I was like, that's also very strange. Like it was just like the quality of the audio just like went in the tank. And you could tell like it was a noticeable difference between like this line of dialogue and then the next lines of dialogue.
When did that happen?
Oh, I don't remember. It was late game though. But I don't remember exactly where it was. But it was just one of those things I caught. I was like, that's weird. Is my speakers going out? And he's like, no, everything else has been fine after that. It was really, really weird. So yeah, those were some weird things with the remaster itself. I think Tidus is better than I gave him credit for, but I wouldn't say he's like my favorite protagonist.
He doesn't have to be your favorite protagonist, but he grew a lot.
He did.
He grew a lot. He had a good arc, and for one, I think if you're going to give him credit for anything, he became a lot less selfish throughout the whole thing.
True.
Like, he realized that this wasn't just about him. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I think that I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. I think that Tidus has a very good arc. And you also have to consider the fact that, like, this is a kid who went through, like, extreme emotional abuse. And then also was, like, thrust into stardom as a teenage boy. Then he is thrust into a world that he does not know and knows nobody in, and is having to, like, figure out what's going on. Also turns out his dad is Sin.
My old man.
Like, Tidus goes through a lot, and he comes out better for it, even if he does actually just go away at the end. But I'd rather you don't bite the door. Why are you biting the door? What are you doing? Why are you biting the door? Sorry, my cat's biting the door.
I mean, obviously, who else is going to be there biting a door?
It's Loki.
Loki's just a weird dude. Of course he's gonna be biting a door for no reason.
He's never tried to bite the door
What
before.
a weirdo.
Ugh.
Let him be a tall boy. Then he won't be biting doors.
Oh my god. Anyway, you also have really good development with Riku, who if anybody knows me at all, they know that Riku is like one of my favorite characters in the entirety of like the gaming world. Like I really like Riku.
There was one thing about Riku in that game that I thought was kind of weird. I don't know if I just kind of missed something along the way, or it's just because of the familial relationship that her and Yuna have. But like immediately once she joins, she's just like best friends with Yuna.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't like it feels like it's like just instantly, and I was like, did I miss something here? Because it just feels like super super quick in a way that I wasn't expecting.
And I mean, that may be a time thing, but also like she's very, very dedicated to saving Yuna, but Yuna's also her cousin that she has never met. And
so I felt like that was kind of part of it, but like it just felt like it was so sudden that I had missed some scene somewhere that like kind of connected it better. It just feels like it. I guess it feels bad to say it was rushed, but it feels so sudden that I guess I was just caught off guard by it.
I can see that, but it never really bothered me. I don't know. I just assumed like, hey, they're two girls that are in similar like age brackets. They're related, and they both know what the struggle is.
Sure.
So, like it makes sense to me because like Lulu's always been like her older sister, and she's in a much different age bracket than Yuna is. So
it makes it sound like they're in different. She's in a different tax bracket.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Yuna's 17, Riku's 15, Lulu's 22.
Yeah,
that's a big difference at that age.
Yeah,
and Lulu's always kind of like acted like her mom or big sister or anything. Like she's always kind of like keeping her on track, whereas Riku, she can kind of like loosen up a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing or anything. It just felt super super sudden, and I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, these games are known for having missable, very plot intensive scenes. So
looking at you, Final Fantasy VII. I
didn't know if I had missed something along the way.
No, and it's just like I said, that's the way I always interpreted it. Riku is very, very dedicated to Yuna, and obviously like has cared about her before she ever like met her. And you see that through Sid, because Sid also is like determined that he is going to save Yuna. Like, yes, he's been like taking all these other summoners in the process, but his goal is Yuna because that's his family. And then like there's the one scene where like you literally see Sid crying on the airship.
Then he judo tosses Tidus.
Yeah, I mean and maybe it's like an Albed thing that they're like really dedicated their families.
Yeah, that could be. What if the Albed are really just the same as the crew in the Fast and Furious, all about family?
I've never seen the Fast and the Furious, so I couldn't
tell
you.
They're all about family.
All about family.
There you go. Final Fantasy
really
X to the Fast and Furious. Vin Diesel is Sid.
I just really think that's the case, that like they're like they say that Sid had a falling out with his sister when like she married Braska, but I think that there is still like that bond, and like Riku and brother kind of like each other a lot, but like you can tell that they care about each other. And like Riku kind of like calls her dad boneheaded, makes fun of him, but like they also are very close. So maybe it is just like that family or an Albed thing. Like maybe also because the Albed have been like
ostracized
and all this time that like they stick close to people that they do care about.
True. Yeah.
So, maybe Riku's just like dying to have like a girl her age that she could be friends with.
Yeah.
Around her age.
Yeah.
So anyway, Riku's great. Because she is one of the reasons, because I've had this many people over the years, like, why do you like Riku so much?
Why do you like Riku so much?
Do you want me to write a dissertation about why I like Riku? Because I can give it to you.
You could.
The like short version of this is Riku has this very cheerful exterior to her. Like she's always happy, cheerful. She's really excited. But she has moments in this game and even in 10-2 that you can see that she has like this deeper sadness to her, and that she's like trying to put up a front to make people think that everything's okay. And like I relate to that a lot, like way more than I ever should.
Gotta deal with racists.
I mean, yeah, but I'm white, so I don't have to deal with that. But it was really a thing that resonated a lot with me as a, middle schooler when I was playing this. And I think like the first time that ever like really realized I had any kind of like depression was in 8th grade, which would have been around the same time that this came out. So like it hit me that I was like, okay, yes, I do the same thing. I have this like cheerful exterior. I try to make people think that everything's fine. I joke around, but inside of me, like there is like this sadness that exists. And like one of the things that she says that's always stuck with me is that when you're going to the far plane to talk to everybody, her and Oren stay outside. Oren stays because he's, spoiler alert, dead, and so
kind of can't go in there.
He can't. That's where the dead people live.
They're like, why are you here? Come on, you gotta come with us.
But Riku also refuses to go.
Mm-hmm.
And if you talk to her, I think she says it once, like before you talk to her, but if you talk to her like outside there, she'll say memories are nice, but that's all they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like that hurts. And especially like replaying that now, like she's lost a lot of people because the Albed have been prosecuted like this whole time, or persecuted is the word I'm looking at, persecuted all this time, but also like her mom's dead. She's 15 and her mom is dead. She's gonna go there and see her mom
and probably other people she knew.
Like it. That's so she just instead like sits outside on the ledge and just like swings her legs, and you're like, man, that sucks. And like the one thing that she's dedicated her life to at this point is to save her cousin, because she doesn't want somebody else that she cares about to die.
Mm-hmm. She's
tired of the death spiral, as they keep talking about. Like she's tired of people dying, and she feels like the summoners are just kind of like thrown at sin to make other people happy, and that's not right.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong, but also like
she pretty much nails it on the head there.
She's the only one that goes against it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody else in that crew is like, well, Tidus doesn't know, but everybody else in that crew is like, yeah, let's do this. We got to do the pilgrimage. Come on, Yuna, let's do the thing. And finally she gets there and she's like, no, we're going to find a different way. Like she's the only one that's not willing to sacrifice Yuna.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. To me anyway, I think it's important. And then like Tidus eventually like joins in, although like he does have that line where he's like, I'm done talking to you.
Yeah, like it makes no sense in the context of that.
All you say is but.
Because like he says that and then immediately they're like, oh, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Like that line makes no sense being there.
I think it's a translation issue. I think essentially what he's trying to say is like, you have to stop being negative. Let's think of a different way.
Let's think positive.
I think that's the way he's trying to do it. Just came out weird. And like I said, I think it was a translation error because I'm done talking to you. It just doesn't come out right.
And then we're going to continue talking.
Yep. Anyway, that's a short version of why Riku's great. Also, her character design's really cute. But also, Square, don't sexualize 15-year-old girls.
That's true.
Both of her intro CGs that you see her, they pan on her butt originally. First in her wetsuit and then in her shorts. So, hey, maybe don't do that. That'd be cool.
They didn't show those to the other ladies that worked at Square, apparently.
I mean, the funny thing about it, okay, let me rephrase this. It's not funny to sexualize a 15-year-old girl in any context. But what I'm trying to say is that in Pen 2, they put her in less clothing, but made her less sexualized. Because they're not doing like the weird like butt shots and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
She's just like, I put on this outfit. I'm going to have heckin' fun with my cousin and also this random girl we picked up. Let's go do this.
We picked up this moody teenager from the Hot Topic.
We need to fill out this circle here. We got a emo one.
God, there was a scene yesterday when we were playing 10-2 where like they showed a close-up of Pain, and I noticed that like her necklace is literally barbed wire, and I was like, oh my god.
Really?
Really?
Ooh.
I was like, man, they're really hitting all the edgelord ticks on her. Oh, buddy.
Yikes.
Anyways, Riku's good.
Riku's great.
Waka's a racist.
Waka is racist.
He's a racist.
He's real racist. Oof.
What's that? Hang on. Talk about how Waka's a racist.
Okay, so Waka is super racist, and essentially it's like, man, I'm a hyper-religious Republican guy, and I don't like anybody who's different than me, but also, like, they use Machina, and Machina is what caused sin. So if we, like, repent a lot, then everything will be fine. And, like, originally when they meet Riku, he's like, oh, hey, welcome to the club, man. Like, it's cool, new person. And then, like, when she speaks to Albed at Macalania Lake, he's like, how do you know Albed? And she's like, oh, I'm Albed. And he's like, and he basically does like the sign of the cross and yells about Machina and sin and blame at like Operation Mihin, the Mushroom Rock thing. Like, he's like, that's what you get when you try to use Machina. Everybody dies and we have to repent. It's so, like, he is a racist, but also his arc is interesting because he has to do the same thing that Yuna does, and that he completely finds out that, like, this faith that he's dedicated his entire life to is completely false.
It's complete.
And he's like, but what about the teachings? Everyone's like, the teachings, man. Like, none of that's real. And he's like, what have I done with my entire life?
There was this image that I put on Instagram like 2 years ago, and it's a parody, and it says Waka vows to make the Albeds pay for the border wall.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he's very much a religious Republican racist.
He really is.
But yeah, it's funny to see him like completely have his world shut around him. Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, this religion is complete. He's like, and also having to deal with the fact that like Yuna is like
half Albed.
Is half Albed, and also near the end is just like, this. Let's tear down all of these institutions. He's like, Yuna, our good punk rock summoner.
Yeah, it's great. Like,
Yuna rules.
Right? Yuna's so great.
She's the best character in this game.
I'm close to agreeing with you, but Riku.
I know, but
Yuna is right up there though, and Like, one of my favorite scenes in this game is when they're about to fight Unalesca. And Waga's like, all right, well, I guess we're just doing the ultimate sin here. Come on. And just pulls out his blitzball. He's like, fine, we'll kill the ultimate god of this religion. And then it turns out she's not that anyway.
I like how they go to fight her, and she's like, all right, who are you going to sacrifice? And Yuna's like, no, we're not doing that. And Yuna's like, what? I was not prepared for this.
What do you mean?
This flip you off.
Sunglasses fall down.
Deal with it. No one's getting sacrificed today. Deal with it.
Oh, it's so good.
Sunglasses fall down. She's just smoking a joint now.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yuna's rules though. Like
Yuna's great.
Like you talked about how like Tidus has like this great character growth and everything, but like man, Yuna goes through like back and just like comes out on the other end just like, man, this and it's so good.
It's so good.
Because she basically goes from being like essentially a puppet for this religion, having to do everything by the books to make people happy and everything, and then by the end of it she's like, I don't give a anymore.
Yeah, she's like, I'm done. Like, we'll do what we gotta do.
Like all you people that have like tried to throw this religion and on me is like, nah, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm gonna fight for the people, and if they like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. Like, we're gonna do this our way, and I don't care what other people think. We're gonna make sure that A, nobody has to go through this ever again, and B, like, we're gonna save the world and do it on our own terms. Everything else.
It's awesome, and I talked about this a little bit in our 10-2 podcast. This is how we get Yuna from 10-2.
Mm-hmm. Carefree Yuna, she just doesn't give a anymore. She's like, deal with the politics of this place, man. That I'm not dealing with any of that.
I do what I want now, but she still cares.
She does, but she's not as like, I guess you could say like uptight or like very
self-sacrificing,
very
to
constrained.
She was literally going to throw herself onto the funeral pyre there, but like, yeah, she's not as constrained.
You would tell she doesn't have the weight of the world on her anymore.
That too. And people always say like, I don't understand how 10 Yuna became 10-2 Yuna. Blah, blah, blah.
It makes the most sense.
I was like, were you paying any attention to the game? Because like, you see that trajectory very, very clearly by the end. She's over it. She's done. And she's like, I've dedicated my entire being to this religion, and it's false, and you guys are just like messing around behind the scenes, and half of you are dead. And I mean, like, she gets, I think that's funny, just since I brought it up. Like, you could kind of play a game of like, are you actually dead or are you alive? So many
a lot
people
of characters like that.
Surprise! I'm actually dead. Woo! So it's pretty funny, but she's just done, and like rightfully so, she's done because they have done nothing but destroy her, and like this entire religion that is false took her dad away from her,
took so many like summoners that she knew away from her,
killed her mom too because Sin killed her mom in a boat wreck. So like she has had everything taken from her and was about to give her own life and a life of her friend to like make the people happy. And then it turns out that like none of it was actually real, and it was just all like BS politics nonsense. She's just like, no, F all this.
Like there's the post like the ending scene where she's giving the speech in the Blitzball stadium in Lucia, and like she's obviously giving this huge speech because she's the hero of Spira. She has saved everyone, and you can tell like she's uncomfortable giving it. Like she doesn't want to be up there doing this kind of speech. Like she just wants to kind of just go away and just relax for a bit and like actually like take time off, not have to be this person, be this idolized human anymore. And like you see that there, and then really you see it as well in the little like in between thing that they made for 10 and 10-2, where she's still kind of having to deal with like the politics stuff, and then Riku comes along and is like, hey, let's go do this thing, and she's like, all right, cool, let's do this. I need to get out of here.
It's so, but also like we see that Yuna that like throws everything away at the end of 10 in the end of 10-2 too, where like everybody's like
10-2.
Hey, 10-2. They're like, hey, we're gonna do this plan. She's like, no, your plan sucks. We're doing it my way. Like she literally does the same thing in 10-2 there that she did in 10, except for she does it in a like more assertive way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. Like you have such a good character arc with Yuna. Yuna is a fantastic character, and like I love everything about her.
She gains so much like confidence in herself.
She does.
Like you really see it like first when at the wedding where she's just like she goes with the whole idea of getting married to Seymour just to try and like fake him out, and then like once that goes wrong, she's like, I'm gonna jump off this building, and they're like, no, you're not, and she's like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Peace out.
I got this.
And we're like, whoa. And then over the course, like you said, like once she gets to the end, she has like way more confidence in herself. And then in 10-2, she has all that confidence in herself now, to where it's like, yeah, she's going to be assertive and be like, if people are doing things that are dumb, she's like, why are you doing this dumb thing? Stop being dumb. And you just really see that over the course of like the back half of 10 and all the way through 10-2.
Also,
she's a magical girl.
She is a magical girl, but also what I was going to say is that like I'm also a sucker for romance. So like, man, I told you this when I was playing through it, but I had a save file on my PS2 version before that scene so I could go back and watch it whenever I wanted to, because I loved it so much. It was beautiful.
I mean, they had to redo it a couple times, so they had to get it right eventually.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know how to make people kiss.
This is hard.
Kissing's terrible.
Scary.
Which, it makes sense why nobody kissed before in any of the Final Fantasies. It's like, oh, right. Y'all don't know how to do it. Okay. Welp. So see, you don't hate Final Fantasy X.
But I like to give it a hard time. Because it's funny.
Okay, but I want you to admit, because we had this conversation via text and all you'd say was Do you think Final Fantasy X is a bad game?
No. It is the lesser of the games with 10 in the title.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I can accept that. But as long as we acknowledge that 10 is not a bad game.
But I'll still say it's a bad game because it's funny.
You're the worst. I also, minor detail, I think that it was really cool that you could just like on the fly switch characters out in this. Like that was really revolutionary at the time. It was rad.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything else that like was that seamless.
Like I was playing it with Keller here and he's just like, did you just tag team somebody in? I was like, yeah, I got to take out this flan.
Flan.
Yeah, it's the flan, the little gooey guys.
Yes. Before we go, I feel like there is one thing we have not mentioned that we do have to discuss, because we had like a very interesting conversation about it when we were playing through.
Okay, yes, let's talk. I don't know what you're talking about, but I will when you mention it.
Ha 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 ha.
Yay! Okay, yes. This is an important thing to talk about, and it's one of the only things that people know about 10 if they like are talking about it.
There was that meme like what 2-3 years ago where like it got that laugh got remixed into just like 30,000 songs.
Yep. So let's talk about the laugh scene.
It is the laugh scene. Honestly, it's become one of the more infamous scenes from 10 now.
Yeah,
which is very bizarre.
The most famous scene from 10.
And mostly people like riff on it because they think like, you know, it's bad voice acting.
Right.
Seeing that in context or like out of context, you would probably assume like this is really strangely directed. Why would they go with that? As like people don't laugh like that. And like, you know, that's a if you're looking at it out of context without nothing else knowing what the story is going for or anything like that, like that's a valid complaint.
Mm-hmm.
Within the context of the story, though, it makes a ton of sense.
Yes. I mean, they're literally talking about like faking it, basically. Like they're trying to fake being happy. And so she like tells him to laugh, and so he does that fake laugh, and she does it too, which nobody ever talks about the fact that she does it. And everybody points to this as like, oh, this is the worst voice acting. But then like I sent you a video of the Japanese version.
Y'all don't know bad voice acting.
Yeah, y'all don't know voice acting that's bad. Like, what was that PS3 game that actually had like the Shadow Hearts characters in it that had like the worst voice acting I've ever heard in my life?
Right, yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what the game's called though.
Ooh, it was terrible.
It's not good. But yeah, like the Japanese version is also intentionally bad.
I would argue it's worse.
But it still has that same kind of context of like
this
is not how humans laugh.
No, it sounds generally like the same style. And like his name is James Arnold Taylor, right? Tidus' voice actor.
I believe so.
Like he's posted videos since then. He's like, that is how I was told to do this. This was the direction because it was supposed to be fake.
Yeah.
And like that poor guy just gets so much for this. And it's like he did his job and he did it well.
He did it exactly as he was told, and he did it well.
Yeah. And like I sent you the Remake Mangoes video because it makes me laugh. But like which if you've never seen Remake Mangoes, you should Google Remake Mangoes because it's hilarious. Hopefully nothing terrible comes up when you Google that. But that video is funny. That scene is famous for the wrong reasons.
Totally.
Because I think, in my opinion, that's like the first break in Yuna's armor you get. Because before then she's very like guarded, she's very serious. She hasn't like opened up to a lot of she hasn't opened up to Tidus a lot, and thus she hasn't opened up to the player a lot.
And like what you have that scene like, and immediately she sees like something's wrong with Tidus, and she's like, hey, do you want to scream again? Do you want to like make some noise, get some of this off your chest? And he's just like and then she gives him the idea of like smile, do some laughter and all that sort of stuff, and like she's the one approaching him to like make him feel better about this. And like it's also telling that she knows how to do this in a way to make people think you are doing okay, like how to fake it till you make it, essentially. Like she's the one saying like, hey, just put on a smile, people won't ask you things, like you'll be fine.
Which, I wonder why Yuna would know how to do this kind of thing. Wow. Not like Yuna's been doing this for ages.
Yep.
So, I think it's a really important scene.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really well done scene.
I think it's also a case of like, man, people who say they are fans of Final Fantasy don't understand Final Fantasy in the slightest. Like, because you have this where people just completely literally laugh it off, no pun intended. And then you have stuff like in 7 where people think Cloud's this huge edgelord, and it's like that is completely not the case in the slightest.
Right. People don't understand Final Fantasy, honestly. Like, it's really annoying because, I was a huge fan until, after 10-2. And these games mean a lot to me. Particularly, like, I'm going to say 6, 8, 9, 10 mean a lot to me. I'm sure that somebody's going to get real mad about the one that I left out there. But also, like, there was a lot more nuance to these games that people gave it credit for. And, like, when it comes to people just, like, making BS jokes or, like, not understanding these significant plot points or, like, just completely misunderstanding who the character is. Like, I feel like Squall gets a lot of that, too, that people just misunderstand.
Yeah, that's a great example.
And he's not just like this kid who doesn't care about anything. He is terrified of opening up to people because he's been nothing but abandoned in his life. And also, he's a child soldier. Like, he's so misunderstood. And this scene is Squall.
But yeah, I agree with that completely.
It's a good scene.
So yeah, that's Final Fantasy X. Final
10.
Fantasy cross tag battle.
Oh my god.
Can't escape from crossing sins.
Oh my god. Your old man.
Can't escape from your old man.
Oh man. I like Final Fantasy X.
You do. All right. Well, we've left that monkey off our backs. Now we don't have to fight anymore.
We've settled it.
We've settled it.
Good.
Finally.
Finally.
Hey you. So if you'd like more from us, go to seasonlanguagecheckup.com or sac.cool. It's where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Season Language Checkup, Season Language Checkup OVA. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you want more from Anne Ladyem, go to AnneLadyem.com. She has columns and reviews. Go read our pieces about 10.2 that we have.
Yeah.
Go find those and read those.
They're good.
You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. It's where we do the Twitters. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Next time, we're going to dive right into Final Fantasy 13.
Fight me.
Is it bad that I've honestly, I had the thought very recently, I was like, what if I went back and played that game in a critical, with a critical eye, just to see, okay, what really is bad about this game that people think? Is there anything that can be gleaned to be good at this game?
Oof. You are a braver person than
I mean,
am.
you're not wrong.
So then the question is, if you do that, are you going to play 13.2 and 13.3?
I mean, I don't own those games, so.
Do you own 13?
I own 13, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I own the Xbox 360 version.
That was the version that I owned and promptly returned.
It has the shiny case.
Shiny. I mean, oof. Godspeed to you if you do it, man.
We'll do something next week. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. You know what's gonna be crazy though? I'll be done with college by the time this episode goes up.
I know.
Weird.
You're gonna graduate.
Weird.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yay.
So there's that. So yeah, we'll see you next week with something.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah, we'll always be here.